I'm Jessica Musila, the Africa Project Lead for mySociety UK.
And what does your organisation do?
mySociety builds civic engagement sites across, which have been popularized across the UK and other Commonwealth countries. And right now I've just started implementing projects in Africa since 2011.
So what does the civic engagement site in Kenya do?
In Kenya, we have a parliamentary monitoring platform called Mzalendo. Mzalendo is Swahili for patriots, and it keeps an eye on the Kenyan parliament, specifically on MPs and senators.
And what sort of information does it keep on those MPs?
In Kenya, the MP information is not easily accessible. And so we find that many times we have to go sourcing, researching to get their contact details. And in addition to that, we have to track their constituency development fund spending. In addition,
each MP has a fund which they can spend on their constituency.
Yes, they have a specific fund that they spend on their constituency development, and they have oversight on what projects that money can be spent on, which they're supposed to actually do together with the constituents, but in the past they have not been consulting them much. So we wait to see whether this house does that.
And what sort of things have you discovered by monitoring MPs?
Many of them are not computer savvy. At least in the past house, majority of them did not even have any web presence whatsoever. And yet Kenya is a young population, where 70% of the population is under 35. So you'd expect any MPs claiming to be representing these people would have a web presence, but no. Even though Kenya has 75% mobile accessibility, so most of them should be able to get in touch, but that kind of information as how people can reach them was also not accessible.
And Kenya has some of the most well-paid MPs in the world relative to the GDP. How has that situation come about?
Okay, that is a bit historical. In 2002, when the Kibaki administration first came into power, the biggest thing that they were supposed to address was corruption. And the idea was that MPs have been stealing from the public coffers because they were poorly paid. So they got the privilege of hiking their salaries, because the idea was if they raise their salaries, then they have no reason to steal. But that continued, and
so they haven't become less corrupt.
They haven't become less corrupt. What has changed in the current dispensation is that under the 2010 constitution, the MPs are no longer ministers, cabinet office holders. And that changes the dynamics of what they can actually access. Yeah. Right now, the only funds they actually have access to is the Constituency Development Fund.
The MPs often say that they need this additional money in order to pay for help for their constituents. Why are they doing this?
I think that is rooted in our culture, because traditionally has been the successful one takes care of the rest. And so what happens is many times when they go back to their constituents, the poor will keep asking for help to cater for their school fees of the kids or their medical bills, and that over time is a burden on the MP. And what they don't realize, it ends up resulting in the MP feeling they need to find that money so that they can keep the goodwill of the people.
Yeah. And that in a sense, that pressure on people who have to give to those who haven't is across all people, isn't it? I mean, if you went to your village, for example. Yeah,
that pressure is on all people, because most times when the extended family will come to you and ask if they consider you a success or at least better paid than them, they will keep asking for handouts of one sort or the other.
What would be the success of the platform? What sorts of things do you think the platform will make happen?
First, just providing information to the citizens, because information is power. And what people don't realize is the new constitution, even though we all went to the referendum in 2010 and passed it, many of us did not read it. And so people don't realize the responsibilities of the different office holders. We now have 6 elected officials, and so the burden on the MP is less than it used to be in the past. And in addition to that, so the portal should be able to provide information about the roles and responsibilities of these leaders, in addition to also articulating what do they actually do. Are they actually working for the interests of the people, and giving an opportunity also to the citizens to comment and give feedback about what they think about their MP's work.
And you're rolling this citizen engagement platform out across Africa?
Yes. Now what happened is mySociety built this platform in Kenya, and the software behind it is now called Pombola. This was launched earlier this year, and it's being copied. It's an open source platform, and it's being copied in other African countries. Nigeria and Ghana already have platforms. In Ghana, the platform is called Odekro. And in Nigeria, the platform is called Shine Your Eye. And in South Africa, we are about to launch one maybe in the next month or so.
So it will be available in more African countries?
Yes, it will be available in more African countries, but it is not only limited to Africa. It can actually be copied in any other part of the world. The idea is just to have parliamentary information in easily accessible format, and the platform is easily adaptable to the context that one lives in.